Hey, it's Ethan here at etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hollywood Rack's Destination E Hitch Bike Rack and how it fits on a 2023 Kia Telluride. The Destination E is a two-bike platform style bike rack capable of supporting up to 70 pounds per bike, so it's really good for those e-bike purposes. It's going to hold on to our bikes primarily by these rotating padded clamps on our center mast on the frame of our bike, as well as 3 additional straps down at the bottom. One of the nice things about this rack is that it does have the ability to tilt away with the bike loaded, so we'll show you that first so you can see how it works. To get it to tilt, we're going to hold on to the center mast while we unthread this hand knob until it gets to the point where you can push it down, just like that, and then I hold on to it as I guide it down. There is some good resistance there, so you don't have to do it all by yourself, which is nice if you do have those heavy bikes loaded up, and then I can get into the hatch. Tilts super aggressively, as you can see, so it gives us plenty of room for clearance as well as room to sit down here and change our shoes if we want to, or get anything out of the back that we might need for our ride, and have plenty of room to do so. As this closes up, you can see that there are a couple ways you can go about putting it back up. I like to just go from the back again, just hoist it from the center mast again, put that knob back in place and tighten it down. And now we can work on getting our bike removed. To do so, I'm going to bring in one of the features that this bike rack offers. That's this telescopic ramp. So it doesn't integrate onto the bike rack itself. You will have to remember to bring it. And one of the drawbacks of this rack is that you can't put it on all 4 points, so you will kind of have to pick and choose. For the case of our shop over here, I'll put it on this side. We're not going to have a ton of room, but I'll give you a quick example of what it would be like to use it once we get our bike off. So, just loosen it up, slide it out, tighten it back up, and then I'll start undoing some of these wheel straps. Just push this gray release, slide the straps out. You're going to want to get them out of the way entirely if you can so they don't interfere with the bike as it's rolling along. So I got the back one undone, and now I'll get these front 2. You can also see that there is this rubber molding on the straps, which is going to protect our tire. Just a nice little additional feature. Now with all the straps out of the way, we'll come and undo this knob. I did want to look at it real quick though, so you can see that there is this lock core on the knob. So if you want to lock that up, you won't be able to undo the knob securing your bike to the rack. With it out of the way, I'll guide it down the ramp slowly as far as I can. Just give you an idea of what that looks like. The ramp is really wide, so it's really easy to use. It's about as far as I can go, so I'll just get it up and out of the way. I wish it did integrate onto the rack somehow, because you will have to remember to bring it, but it's not the biggest deal for that ease of use. And I'll just get it out of the way. Again, just undo that knob, slide it down. With the bike out of the way, we can talk a little bit more about the tray and the cradles. So as you can see, it does have that shape where it angles down on both sides. That'll help you accommodate a wheelbase of up to 50 inches. The cradles themselves are going to be able to support a tire width of up to 4.5 inches. I'll put all these straps away just to make sure that everything is secure. You can see that this front one does swivel up and down, again to accommodate different tire sizes and wheelbases. And now I'll get the center mast folded down. To do that, I'm first going to have to undo these rubber straps on either side, release these levers, and then I can fold it down and then pull these levers back up, as well as replacing these straps that go around them. There are a lot of touch points and different things that you're going to have to use to manipulate the rack. So do with that what you will. In this position though, I'll get a quick measurement so we can see just how much distance we're adding. With that center mast folded down, we are going to increase that quite a bit. So to the bumper, to the furthest point of the end, it's going to be about 40 inches. So Telluride is already pretty long. That's going to be even longer from there. As far as ground clearance goes, because they do angle down on the tray, I'll measure it from the front here. So the ground clearance to this tray is about 17 inches, and if you're just lifting the bikes, you're going to have to lift them about 20 inches. So pretty good rise in the shank, and the Telluride sits high enough that that's not something I'm super worried about, but you can also fold it up to save some of that space. To do so, we'll just start by removing this clip, and we might have to lift the rack up and down a little bit to slide this pin out, but once we do, we can fold the rack up towards our vehicle, and then we can come back down and replace the pin. Just make sure you line it up with the hole, and pop that clip back in, and now we can get that new measurement to see how much space we've saved. So now, from the bumper to the furthest point back, it's going to be about 14 inches, so we save a ton of space by folding it up. But as you can see, it's pretty bulky, and it does block a lot of what's on the back of our vehicle, including our license plate from straight on. You'll be able to see it from certain angles for sure, but our backup camera is pretty much dead center right here, so that's going to be pretty heavily obstructed by the rack. It's not high enough that it's going to be blocking our taillights really, but you might be able to see the very top of it out of your rear window. As far as the shank goes, we do have a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch receiver tube. It's held in place by this pin with a lock in the end that's going to be key to the lock that was on that knob that I talked about earlier, all secured with this handle, with this anti-rattle handle down here, making sure that when we tighten that up, we don't let it hang down because that's going to take away some of our ground clearance. So, overall, the Hollywood Rack's Destination E is a really solid option for you if you have those heavy bikes, but you need a little bit of accessibility with that ramp add-on to get them on and off. There are a decent amount of touch points, and I don't love that you have to remember the ramp separately, so if you want to look at something similar, you might want to check out something like the Yakima on-ramp. It also has a ramp and a solid weight capacity, but it's integrated onto the rack, so you don't have to remember it. But if you really like the build quality and the ramp add-on and the overall construction, the Hollywood Rack's Destination E is still a really solid choice. Again, this was just a look at how it fits on our 2023 Kia Telluride.